I didn't think the pain from the shingles rash would affect simple, everyday tasks like bathing, getting dressed, or even walking around. I was wrong. Though not everyone at risk will develop it, 99% of people over the age of 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time. I developed it, and the blistering rash lasted for weeks. Don't learn the hard way, like I did. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
Whether you bond over streaming binge-worthy videos, watching sports recaps, video gaming, or by unplugging altogether, the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus Hybrid helps keep you connected throughout your journey. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Available connectivity features and functionality vary by model. Package pricing, trials, and term lengths vary by model. Video streaming and games are only available while parked.
Hank's the family fixer, always with his tool belt. But living with prostate cancer, he needed help. He asked his doctor about Xtandi and enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat starts swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
So, Daniel, that was great, wasn't it? Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did not think we'd be back recording another one of these quite so soon. It's been a while. They've let us off for a bit.
Amazing. I mean, is it a pattern or is it just freak that United have conceded 7 at Liverpool, 6 at City, 3 at Arsenal, and they seem to be games in which we all fell apart. Maybe less Arsenal, but certainly the City games.
We're a much better team now than we were when we played City. Also, that was City. They haven't played as well since then. They played really well that day. We didn't have Casemiro, so you can make excuses for that one. This one, is hard, much harder to excuse, and also the magnitude of the scoreline means that you kind of, in general, the way I relate to football is that I milk absolutely every last drop of joy out of the good bits. And then outside of the actual football environment, I'm quite good at removing the stuff that would wind me up if I didn't remove it.
Yeah, I just don't look at the internet in times like these. It's just no point.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you're kind of going about your business and then it returns to you and you remember. And it's just like, oh, man.
Yeah. It's after the game, Ten Hag said he saw 11 people who lost their heads, and that's a fair assessment. I mean, I wonder whether it's not 12, and Ten Hag got this one weirdly wrong. A very odd balance for the team, which he's done quite a lot in recent weeks, and generally it's paid off, right? Weghorst at 10, Bruno wide, Rashford through the middle. It felt a little bit unbalanced and weird, and I think the thing I felt really confident about in midweek when we did the midweek show was the spacing behind Liverpool's fullbacks, and it's been causing them a lot of problems this season, always does. Yeah, Alexander-Arnold plays square on. He has absolutely no idea what's behind him. And United's biggest weapon, Marcus Rashford, was nowhere near him, and it just felt really odd. And it didn't come off. But, in midweek I said, hey, I can't question Ten Hag's decision-making or tactics or setup because he gets it right almost all of the time. And this one just went really badly wrong.
Yeah, the decision I thought was strange was not playing Wan-Bissaka, playing Dalot, because in a game like that at Anfield, not that I massively trust Wan-Bissaka, but I don't think the things that you want from Dalot that Wan-Bissaka doesn't give you are going to be a huge feature in the game. It's quite a narrow pitch. I don't think that Wan-Bissaka can get forward in a way that Dalot can. And I don't think their ability on the ball is Dalot's is so much better than Wan-Bissaka's that we should not want Wan-Bissaka's ability one-on-one in the tackle and also ball carrying for a game like that. And I agree with what you said also, and I think that we've been getting away with it for quite a large portion of this run.
Yep.
Quite a lot of the beginning, winning games narrowly, and then winning games narrowly. And what's happened now is we started scoring more goals and winning games more comfortably, but it doesn't mean that there weren't periods in those games where things could have gone wrong. That's the game last weekend that I've now, in a moment of being 43, forgotten who it was against. No, I don't even mean that. I mean, West Ham in Madrid.
Yep. We
could have been 2 or 3 down before we started playing. And you tend not to get away with those on a regular. I mean, obviously that doesn't explain losing fucking 7-0 at Anfield. Oh my god.
No, and of course, pretty much everything Liverpool touched was going in. I think their first 5 goals were from their first 5 shots on target, which is unusual. So you can say some of this is a freak, but certainly the quality of defending was just dreadful from United. I'm trying to remember, it's the 5th or the 6th goal where I was counting up the number of opportunities. Casemiro twice, Shaw twice, Martinez. It was 5 or 6 opportunities to clear it, and none of them did. So,
well, that was it. I was thinking that because this is this pod is like our old friend, and similarly, our old friend, the consecutive errors goal is back with an absolute vengeance.
Yeah,
they handed some absolute humdingers of those.
Oh yeah, I mean, and some unlucky,
but also Rangnick. Uncle Ralph period of catastrophe.
Yeah, it did feel very much like that, didn't it? Which clearly it is not, but they wilted too quickly, and then just consecutive errors or weird bounces. The one that came off Scott McTominay's arse straight into Salah's path for his hat trick. So,
that is also a fair point, actually. I mean, this sounds so ludicrous because we lost 7-0. So it's not in any way saying that this is really connected to the outcome, but the general bounce of the ball in that game didn't favour United, even in the first half.
I'm just looking at the stats here. 8 shots on target for Liverpool, and they scored 7. I mean, it's pretty unusual, and
they've got good attackers as well. And things have been going for United recently. And today things didn't go, and just
I mean, I do wonder what the reaction to this is. Obviously, Ten Hag, and we've spoken about this before, that generally speaking, there are consequences for not playing well under Ten Hag, and he's come out quite strongly after the game, said 11 players lost their heads. It was unprofessional, especially in the second half, obviously. And generally speaking, there have been consequences for that, and there will have to be, because United need this to not be cataclysmic, not one of those games that destroys months of confidence building and sets us all the way back to the beginning, which I don't think it will. And I think Ten Hag's in more control than that. But you can't turn up against Betis on Thursday with the same 11. Clearly, there's got to be some punishment beatings handed out here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that the players they haven't earned a 7-0 defeat at Anfield, but they've earned credit with the manager, so that is he really going to drop Bruno for being a knob? He might, but you need to win the next game, and he's someone who's like to help you do that. Sure. And it was interesting actually because he was the guy who came out for the exhibition fronting up, and he did it in a very different way to Maguire. I don't think he apologised. I think he said, we usually play better than this. We play badly today. We'll play better next time. But it didn't feel apologetic, which I feel like I was pleased about that, I think, because the apologising used to do my head in. However vexed we think we are about this, I guarantee you that Bruno Fernandes is more vexed, and probably every other single player in that dressing room is more embarrassed and vexed than we are about that.
Sure.
So I don't need him to perform it for the television cameras for the enjoyment of anyone who happens to be watching.
I don't want to see United players being pathetic either. So
agree.
It never came across as something that I got inspiration from Maguire coming out to give his apology interview. So they should be angry, but I think what I'm saying is if your performance at a normal job was this bad, you might be looking at the sack. And I'm not suggesting anyone gets the sack, but clearly there needs to be something of a reaction for the next game, and I suspect from the manager as well. Coming back to the tactical thing, I don't know. I feel like the experiment of playing Weghorst in the middle and like moving Bruno Fernandes wide, especially to the left, is I don't know. That one feels like it's run its course. I don't know that we get magnificent benefit from it, and it was a mess in midfield. And when you're being sort of outpassed by Henderson and Fabinho, for fuck's sake, then clearly Weghorst is not the man. And United were a man short with Weghorst dropping deep. It was very Uncle Ralph-ish.
I say this, that game is not just Weghorst. I've been saying this about Weghorst for weeks, that he's crap, but he's not useless. So you keep playing him because you can find reasons for the things that he does, and we can all see the things that he does that are helpful. But he's nowhere near good enough. And games like that actually make they remind you that other players aren't also. Like, you watch that game and you think like Dallow's not good enough, not likely to be good enough. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to like pile in on him, but on Dallo particularly, like, he wasn't any worse than any of the rest of them. It's just he's probably got himself less in the bank that makes me happy that he's as good as it needs to be in that position. But yeah, Weghorst, I mean, I can understand why he played. The idea is if Liverpool press, you've got the option of going over their press to Weghorst.
Didn't do that today though. Just kept losing the ball in the press.
No, and then they. So that was why I thought that That's why I thought that they played him in that position, so he's a bit closer to De Gea. But he's not. He's not good enough. And also, there's still presumably some squad planning going on where they need to decide. I don't have to decide, but Garnacho is getting better, and I thought that the game against West Ham was the best he's played as a starter. I thought he played really well in that one.
Sure.
It's getting to a point where he's going to be good enough quite soon, maybe to be challenging to play every week. At which point, what are you going to do with Rashford? So I'd be just trying to play Rashford through the middle to see if he can be a centre forward. So I don't mind if they do that necessarily, but I think that getting Weghorst into the team when you've got Garnacho and Sancho, it doesn't seem like he adds enough relative to what they.
No, I think that's right. And I don't mind Rashford through the middle. He's close to the goal. Obviously, I think he gets more space off the left and can cut in and shoot. The weird thing today was playing him through the middle when you know that Liverpool's weakness is in behind Alexander-Arnold. And that was just odd because there was no one running into that space. Bruno's not going to do it. He doesn't run off the ball in that way. And so we didn't exploit their weakness and kind of contributed to their strengths. So I thought that was a bit odd, but I don't overanalyze what was, in a sense, a freak result, right? Eight shots, you don't normally score 7 goals. So I think we can probably go, okay, bad result, some freakishness to the size of the score. I mean, I guess once you lose 1-0, you might as well lose. I mean, it's Liverpool, right? So it doesn't really matter what the final score is. But this one is one for the ages.
It's a reminder that we know who these players are, and there's some repeat offenders in there.
Yeah,
and they haven't. Ten Hag has done a brilliant job getting them to feel themselves, but we saw there it didn't take much before. Yeah, they were just absolutely gone. And
and some of it. I mean, the captain Bruno clearly lost the run of himself, clearly, and he probably it was good that he didn't get sent off because it felt like there was something coming at some moment, and I was waiting for Anthony to absolutely smash someone as well because he looked like he was about to.
On which point did you think that McTominay could possibly have been sent off for what he did? Because it felt to me like Gary Neville was trying to talk the referee into giving him a red card.
No, he actually got the ball, and then the follow through, his leg sort of pokes up, and I don't think. Yeah. I just thought that was accidental. The leg being
same.
Up.
And I agree. Like the level of control you've got when you're talking about a very small amount, but it made me think a bit about Carragher and Neville, where they sort of come from opposite sides of the way that you commentate on your own team. Like Gary Neville, like nothing, like I feel has had moments of excitement about United, but generally when he's commentating on them, he's hypercritical.
Yes. Yeah.
And Carragher is completely the opposite. Like, they kept playing that commentary when Mo Salah goes, "You dancer." When he goes, "You dancer," when Mo Salah scores. Thinking, what? That's not your job to do that. That doesn't really bother me that he does do it. Obviously, I'd prefer not to be necessary, but feels quite strange that is the level of punditry now. I don't know. Not the level of punditry, actually. That's the wrong way of going about it. I find it odd that Carragher doesn't make more of an effort to be impartial in that way.
No, but I think I think that's part of the plan, really, isn't it? I mean, it's co-coms instead of like tactical analysis or color commentary, it's as trolling, and many like you get commentators adding more commentary and editorializing than they ever used to do. And the co-coms do that too, and it's almost like watching a fan TV watch along with some of them. Not everyone, but it's like it is aped that style of media coverage. I think
it can be. It gets a bit bantorious nowadays. I think.
Bantorious.
I mean, Carragher and Neville both. They're both much better in the studio than they are in co-coms, and there aren't that many people that are actually. That seem to be that good at that job. So it must be a much harder job. I mean, I guess you can see exactly why it's a harder job. Add value to what we're seeing without just repeating it, and do it really quickly without video aids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a difficult job. But it doesn't seem like there's anyone who's any good at that. But I think that, it interests me the way it seems to, like, I wonder if it's driven also by social media a little bit. That Gary Neville doesn't want it to be said that he's biased, and Jamie Carragher is just like, I mean, he's in the moment, but it is known that he's producing things that you can clip up, I would say.
100%. Yeah, I don't have the experience of being inside the studio and what producers will be wanting from them, but I'm sure that social media coverage and clippings, the stuff, and spreading it around is part of the plan. I mean, it certainly is at TalkSport, right? That's the whole point. The whole point of their coverage is to get people sending it around in short bursts. That's why it's so hyperbolic. But I do think media commentary has gone that way a bit. I mean, in the US, our coverage was Peter Drury on comms and Graham Lasso as the co-coms, and he's all right, Graham Lasso, because he's very downbeat, and so it's very hard for him to say anything that winds you up. Peter Drury, of course, is like completely hyper, and it's got a list of lines that he needs to bring out. And
Peter Drury.
If you like him, that's fine.
Because it's weird, because you want personality, but I guess sometimes, like obviously when you're any kind of personality, you can stray into pastiche of yourself at times. Like, it's inevitable. But Peter Drury is definitely a net positive, although I understand why people might find some of it a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that bothered. I'm more worried about United shipping 7 goals at Anfield than what poetry Peter Drury is coming out with.
Right, but I'd forgotten about that. And I was just saying, I was trying to forget about this, and you just reminded me.
Yeah, very sorry, very sorry. Short pod today. That's all right. That's all done, folks. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye now. No.
One thing I liked, I was pleased to note, we had a couple of short corners that didn't go to Fred. I think he might have been off the pitch when one of them happened, but I think there was another, so we didn't get to enjoy that kind of off the ankle pass.
The first one, though, they did, the short corner today, it was short, and kept going backwards. I was like, okay, what's the point? I did know, actually, we're talking about clearing it long, going direct to Weghorst. A couple of times today, they did the fullback taking the goal kick to the goalkeeper and then spreading it wide. But of course, Dave's lack of confidence in passing it means that it went back to the keeper and he had to boot it long in the end, which was kind of pointless. I do look at that situation. Dave's been fine this season, and there's some talk that they are very close to that new contract. So we'll see about that one. But in those particular moments, he can't do it. And he's never going to be able to do it. And so you either have to compromise or risk what happened, which is United giving the ball away in dangerous areas.
I mean, the thing about De Gea is, you look at those 7 goals, 7 goals, and you can't necessarily pinpoint any of them that were his fault.
No, he could have stood up for the one that was dinked over him, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. But you can't help but think a more dominant style keeper doesn't concede, isn't behind the defence that concedes 7 times there.
Sure.
It's just, I don't know. It feels like, apart from the saves, he doesn't give enough security, and he's another one who's that reminder that he can be brilliant, but he probably isn't quite good enough for what you really want if you're going to get yourself into serious position challenging for trophies.
Yeah, his faults exposed all the time. I mean, I think after 400 odd games at United, we know what he is and he isn't. Brilliant reflexes and not so good with his feet, and a bit powder puff when it's all going wrong. Which was also Luke Shaw today, who's been great this season and very good, but had a mare for the ages defensively today, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he lost his head a bit, which it was like, I didn't exactly mind seeing that. I just would have liked it to have come with a bit more resolve when it comes to playing football, as well as getting aggro with Liverpool. So I sort of, in some ways, I didn't hate his performance as much as I've hated some of his previous performances, because it felt like there was a bit more fire and entitlement in this one than just the previous more supine subsidences.
Yeah. Well,
That's the best I can say about him.
Yeah. It's I'm running out of things to say, actually, because normally we can go deep into the analysis, but this was like just one for the ages.
I thought that. Okay, then I'm going to try. Go on. I'm going to toss one up. I thought that Anthony played quite well in the first half.
I mean, look, first half he was doing what we needed.
What'd you make of that?
Yeah. I mean, the fight stuff in the final third wasn't awesome, but he carried the ball well. He defended well first half. Actually, United defended well first half, apart from that one moment of disorganisation when Varane got turned for Gakpo's goal, which was one that's definitely preventable. I mean, they're all preventable, but that in particular, yeah. I'm not so worried about Anthony. He gets some trolling from people who don't watch United every week, but I think he's doing all right.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. He's scored some goals. He's made some goals. He scored some important goals. He scored in his first game, and he scored again. It tells you that he's got some arsehole, Anthony. You can give him the ball in any situation. He's going to need to get better at scoring and creating goals and coming in and going on the outside also. But I like what I've seen, and I think in general we're worse when he's not there. I also thought that Martinez played well in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, if only it was just about the first half, right? No. It's normally we've been poor in first halves, and Ten Hag has managed to get them to turn around in the second. I think that was true of Newcastle and West Ham in the last week. Not today. Anyway, let's leave it there on Liverpool. I don't want to talk about it anymore. No question about that. It's supported by you, our listeners, through patreon.com/NQAT pod, where you can get access to our weekly ad-free bonus episode talking about football around the Premier League and Europe. We've got a game on Thursday against Real Betis.
We do.
Have you been following Real Betis' season so far?
Not really. No, in fact, mainly not.
I know a few of their players.
I would say.
It's Iglesias up front who's scoring the goals, isn't it? And Nabil Fekir, people thought a lot of early in his career. I think he...
Klopp tried to get Fekir.
Yeah.
Did that with that midfield that was good, sort of by mistake, because he wanted Fekir to play in it, and I guess that would have made him a slightly different team.
Or did he fail a fitness test or something like that, didn't he, on the transfer? It fell through. Some to dodgy knees or something. That hasn't really played out. So William Carvalho in midfield as well, who was perpetually linked with United at one stage, probably agent-driven rather than anything else. So they're doing all right. They're fifth in the table, just ahead of Villarreal, a little bit behind Real Sociedad. We know those two teams pretty well. Old Trafford first time around. I've never been to Real Betis's ground. I've been past it in Sevilla, but it's one of those kind of old style open air. I'm sure they get a good crowd in there. I think it holds more than 50,000 for the second leg, which I guess is in a week's time, and then Thursday at Old Trafford, and a chance to put what just happened to bed very quickly.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, we're deluding ourselves if we think we're entirely putting it to bed, but it is good that they've got a game in midweek. And one of the things I was thinking also was, because I'm going to try and explain why this happened, is they have played a lot of games.
Hell of a lot.
I guess you can see how that could lead to a collapse when exhaustion, the opposition playing really well, everything going for them, an away game against a rival, just all of those things coming together, shouldn't equal 7-0, but was kind of maybe why or a contributory factor in them behaving like complete morons for
Look, those are all, I think they're
minutes.
all reasonable factors, especially the number of games. I mean, United have played 10 games in the past 33 days, if I can get the words out. I think it's 21 since the World Cup. A hell of a lot of games. There's pretty much not been a midweek break. Or has there been a single midweek break since the World Cup? Can't remember, but with the extra round in Europa
I don't
League
think so,
and the
no.
League Cup run and stuff, it's just been ongoing. And Ten Hag has been reluctant in some games to rotate. I mean, he did for West Ham in midweek, but he didn't, for example, against Forest and Reading in previous cup games. I think we were a bit surprised. He wanted to keep the momentum, but at the cost of playing a lot of games, which can have downstream consequences, can't it? Like maybe today. We'll see. I mean, it might be a contributory factor. Talking is hard, much like defending if you're a United player. So, yeah, and it's hard to say, like, the Europa League's an important competition, clearly. I mean, it's a place in the Champions League, which should be United's anyway, 10 points ahead of Spurs and 7 ahead of Liverpool despite today's game. It's an important competition. More silverware, that would top 4 and a couple of cups would be very good. So it's going to be a big question for Ten Hag. How much of a punishment beating does he hand out to some of the players who didn't perform? Because consequences have to be consequences. And how much does he rotate?
Yeah. So who do you? Are you leaving anyone out?
It's really hard to say. I mean, I would definitely think about mixing up the system a little bit. I mean, Bruno, most creative player, left wing. Don't think we want to see that again. Don't understand that. Don't think he likes it.
Especially when we've got left wingers.
We've got a ton of left wingers, so it's just weird. Obviously, it's a tactical thing he wanted to try today, but he's been doing this system with Weghorst as the pivot. I just don't know whether that's like contributing to United's performances. I mean, I guess like Ten Hag believes it, right?
I feel like against Betis, you shouldn't need Weghorst. You should be playing, because they're going to try and keep the ball, but they're going to be open. Just play your best footballers, because we should be able to dominate possession against them.
You should do. They don't score a lot of goals either, Betis. So I think the Iglesias has got 10. I think the next top goal scorer's got 3, something like that. So they're reasonably tight. I mean, I not that I'm going to claim to be an expert on them, but I think they're a decent side. Not as good as Villarreal. That should be our benchmark. But for some very odd refereeing, we would have beaten Villarreal earlier in the season. So anyway, a good competition.
Do you mean?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sociedad. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, so like, I think we've got the benchmark for them. They're United, obviously, partly just for this round and getting a bit of a rest next time out, could do with a really healthy win now and to get over this Liverpool defeat early. Because, I mean, I think in the past with this group, heavy defeats have led to more heavy defeats, haven't they? And I'm actually feeling fairly confident that is not going to be the case this time, because I think Ten Hag's in a lot of control of this squad.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Like, I think that we'll be able to leave this game more or less in this game, but they're going to think about it when they play Liverpool next at Anfield, because then it's going to be on their mind the next time they play Liverpool, and definitely the next time they go to Anfield. But otherwise, that's why I sort of didn't mind Bruno's interview, because he just was quite categoric about it. That we played crap today, we'll play better in the next game. And,
yeah,
like there's not. I think that the players won't panic. And so, I mean, I might be overestimating that, because I overestimated their ability to not get beat 7-0 today. So can be wrong on these things. But I do sort of trust them to be all right again. I guess you might leave Shaw out and play Malacia.
Yeah.
Even if you're not punishing him, he might as well have a kick up the arse that's worked before.
Yeah. I mean, he had a real stinker today, but he wasn't alone in that. I suspect Ten Hag will change both fullbacks. Just worth doing that. And I'd like to see the change up front as well. So
I wouldn't mind. Also, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Zabitzer for 90 minutes with the best players around him, because I know what Fred does.
Yep.
And it's fine. But even if Fred is better than Zabitzer, I can't imagine it'd be very much.
Well, you have Fred in for the intensity, and there wasn't there today. I mean, I think that's one thing to note beforehand when Ten Hag was talking about mentality. That failed this team today. I mean, they were second to every ball. And I don't want to get all Roy Keane.
I thought he made strange changes. Also. Those first two, like at 3-0, I hate to say this, you're probably making changes to not lose by any more than that. Thought Garnacho was a strange move at that point. I mean, maybe you're trying to teach him, like, this is how bad it can be. I don't know. But I felt like, at that point, you're probably just trying to make sure it doesn't get messy, because you know it could.
Yeah. But that follows on to Thursday's game, doesn't it? Do you give the players who failed today an opportunity to fix it, or do you make some changes? And also, I think they've just got to think about the squad management here. There's clearly some players who are tired, and it's worth rotating them around.
Well, there was a bit at the end where it looked like when Rashford went off, that Bruno was pointing like, "Why aren't you taking me off?" And I don't want to read too much into it, but it did look like that was what happened. And Sky said they thought that was what happened. And that is not really, you don't really want to see that. But also, if that's happening, I mean, I'm sure he'll be ready for the next game and want to play in it, but he does need a rest, and he played like someone who needed a rest.
Yeah, well, sure. And this, I think we've known from the first season that he came, we've known that this happens with Bruno. His form really does tail off when he's tired and knackered, and he wants to play all the time. And he said it himself, actually, in his interview with the club earlier this season. He wants to play every single game and gets very angry when he doesn't. But this is what management is about. And yeah.
I mean, I can understand why Ten Hag was wanting to pick him in all the games, because all the games have meant something, because we're in all the competitions. And we're not safe even in the top four. I mean, we shouldn't mess up top four from here, but the manager has to but he has to really think that we're going to mess it up to make sure that we don't. So you understand why he plays Bruno in all the games, more or less. But it may be, I mean, you can't obviously leave him out against Betis, but you might try and leave him out against Fulham.
In the Cup, yeah. I mean, we've got...
Or even Southampton at home next week, isn't it?
It's Betis at home, Southampton at home, Betis away, Brighton away. So 4 games, and they're all Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. Then, not Brighton away, because it's the FA Cup. Fulham at home in the Cup. Then there's a break. I actually don't know. March 19th to April 2nd. Is there an international week in there?
I think there is one in March. Yeah. I think there is one.
Yeah, I was looking at this going, oh, this is a bit odd. There's a couple of weeks off here, but I suspect it's probably international break, so they'll all be knackered from playing those games. And then it depends on Betis. I mean, there are in April a few free midweeks, but if we're through in the Cup and through in the Europa League, then there won't be at all. I mean, it's just one of those brutal seasons, and Ten Hag is clearly reluctant to go back to some of the players who've failed in the past, and who can blame him?
It feels like we're perpetually talking about next season top four is going to be brutal, but it turned out that Chelsea haven't done the thing this season. So now, like, to be in this position where it's us, Tottenham, and Liverpool probably for 2 places, that's probably a better position than I thought we'd be in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I look at, I mean, maybe we didn't expect Arsenal would be this consistent this season, for sure. That's a surprise given where they were last season. We didn't expect Liverpool and Chelsea to be this bad, did we? And so, it's opened up for United. And Tottenham aren't consistent either. So
Tottenham just aren't good. They're there because they've got Harry Kane, which makes them the best of what else there is. But it's only really because they've got Harry Kane. I mean, I'm not saying you should take him out because part of them is having him, but it is genuinely him. When I watch them play, I mean, Bentancur's quite a good player. Christian Romero could be good at some point, but yeah, it's him. And otherwise, they're quite poor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting not to get too far ahead of ourselves. But I mean, next season, you'd imagine it'll be more competitive because you don't imagine Liverpool will be as bad again. And if Chelsea can sort out their resources and create some balance from all of that, then they're obviously going to be better. And we don't know what Newcastle will do. I mean, they spent 250 million in the past year since the takeover. You'd imagine they're going to try and do that again, sneak in a few sponsorships and all of that. And it'll be a challenging race next season. But that's next season. And United's best chance of improving is to get into the Champions League, because that makes a big difference. Revenue-wise, United are now down to, I think, the third best in the Premier League behind City and Liverpool in terms of making money. There's not much in the kitty, and we've got the uncertainty surrounding the takeover, which I imagine will be putting all of their summer plans on hold until that happens. And if it happens the way we talked about at last week's show, there won't be any summer plans, not good ones anyway. So,
this is going well.
Yeah, I know. How to depress ourselves. Anyway.
I think there are some really terrible case scenarios with the ownership, but
that is for another day.
We are watching. Yeah. We are. Yeah. Well, we're still watching a good team.
Yeah.
And I mean, a good team and 7-0 defeat at Anfield ought to be incompatible, but at the same time, we know what we're watching, and it is different because the manager's really good, and also the players are good, and there are more good players than we've ever had before. So, other than just another epochal thrashing to just dreadfulness, it's not. I didn't go today, but I went to the 4-0 Anfield last season, and I wasn't there, so I'm not going to speak on behalf. There'll be people who are both, and they'll tell you which was worse. But in my mind, that one was a lot worse because we were a lot worse, and just everything was absolutely horrendous. Yeah, at that point.
No, that's right. I mean, if this had happened last season, obviously we'd be in even more despair. But actually, it isn't that. It's a defeat for the ages, and Scousers will love it. And there's a couple of listeners who will get chirpy on Twitter from Liverpool who weirdly listen to United Pod every week.
I almost wonder if it isn't even one for the ages, because it's just become commonplace. If this had happened before the other Canaans that we've taken, it would probably have been more appalling us.
Yeah. Whereas
because we got smashed by them twice last season, it's more. This is what we do. It's never worse. I mean, maybe it is worse the third time in some. I don't know.
Well, when it happened last season, I think many people were the opinion that the club should be firing some of the players because it is beyond unacceptable. So again, comes down to consequences, doesn't it? If you perform that badly, there normally needs to be some.
I look at it as a body, as I think it would be wrong as a manager to drop someone who had played badly, really badly for you once when they played really well for you
30
times. Or 40 times.
Sure. Yeah.
Because aside from whether, as a fan, you don't just want consequences, you want fucking consequences. But apart from, in terms of, so forget about that for a second. As a manager, you need your staff to believe in you. You believe in them, that they can go out and they're not completely ruined for one bad game. So I think he wants the players to trust him. So my guess is there'll have been some stern words, but also this is finished now, because he can't drop all of them. There was none who were that standout horrendous, because they were all standout horrendous. It's like the opposite. One of my favourite commentary things is when a football manager talks about his team being outstanding. Outstanding from what? There was, or how could they outstood relative to who? Anyway, I can't remember what I was saying now. It's probably for the best. Right? But what a segue that was.
Top stuff. For Becca's content, we're going to be talking about all the thrashings we've got against our biggest rivals over the last 2 years. It'll be a 45-minute bonus show. No, we're definitely not going to do that. I'm quite sick of these days. I thought it was behind us, Dan. thought we weren't going to have to deal with this anymore. I thought this group of players had moved on and they had a steely resolve and they were the kings of the comeback, which it seemed like it was true. Apparently not.
One of the things that that irritates about this kind of behaviour is that when we were good and Liverpool were good and we weren't, we've turned up and pretty much always put in the performance against them all the time, but particularly at Anfield.
Yeah.
Then when we were good, Liverpool did the same. Like, you never got an easy game at Anfield. We had that one opportunity to smack them in 93-94 and we were 3-0 up. Didn't. But other than that, pretty much almost every game was a tight game. And then we've got crap. And just almost every game is a submission.
Mm. Well, did beat them at Old Trafford this year, but aside from that one, which looks like the odd one out in a 4-0, 5-0 and 7-0 thrashing. So, yeah, good stuff, lads.
So, yeah, hockey scores. Yeah, it's not... I think that's Mourinho calls them hockey scores. But it's not totally... Yeah, it's not... Fuck it. It's 9. It's 7.
Yeah, I'm going to segue into this before we close out this show because I think we're both losing the run of ourselves as well. Did you see this week Mourinho got himself sent off? Third time this season he's been sent off. This time for having a go at the assistant or the referee or both. I can't remember. And then accused the ref of being from Turin. And I thought that was great. And then there's the magnificent story that came out. Sorry, Dan. That Mourinho had apparently laid into one of the under-14s at the club in front of everyone. And it's just perfectly Mourinho, that.
I saw that, and it didn't used to be. That we didn't have the good Mourinho, but the good Mourinho was... he went over the line a few times. Like the Eva Carnero thing was really dreadful behaviour.
Yeah.
But that kind of era of Mourinho, and I don't want to then say that actually he was like mainly mischievous after he did that, because I thought that was like really like not good at all. But the things that made Mourinho good, he had much more of them. And he sort of then moved over to the dark side of those same things. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing, it's not even that I say he's lost his charm, because that's something for me. And like, he doesn't have to do anything for us by being charming. It just feels like he's lost a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a much happier bloke then. And that I find that quite hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It seemed when he was at Real Madrid before he came to United, he was angry Mourinho all the time, and the charm lasted about 2 minutes when he was at United. He tried it. I thought he might look for a redemption story there, but it kind of descended. I think he was never happy at Spurs, and he doesn't seem very happy at Roma, given how often he's getting sent off. Anyway, that's a diversion, just so we don't have to think about what happened today. And thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh,
yeah, it's good stuff. Hopefully there'll be about 3 of you actually listening, because people don't tend to not when it's been dreadful. So I don't blame you. Catch you next week.
Good. Yeah, please.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.